hill, now that I have retired, fading away, but I'm not yet expired. Clapped out, run down, too old to save, 1 foot in the grave.
Mr. Blizzard. Well, funnily enough, the fact that you've got it firmly in hand does not surprise me at all. It's exactly what I would expect from a complete and utter whack. What? I ordered a crazy paved path for the front garden. Where does a pile of bricks come into it? Oh, yes, and now stop that check for the thing you laughingly call a barbecue out the back there, which hasn't been in the right place since day one. Yes, well, you can threaten me all you like, Mr. Blizzard. You're not getting a penny of my money now or ever.
Oh, when will it ever end?
They carry me out of here in a box. It's not my doing all this. People just can't be bothered anymore.
Yes, like buying a new car with a pornographic number plate, wasn't you? Got stuck in a funeral procession this morning. The mourners were upset enough without having to stare at that obscenity all the way to the crematorium. This stuck up inside a food cupboard.
It's just while I'm doing my test. You know what the doctor said? To keep a watch for any marked change in frequency or consistency.
Yes, boy. I don't think we need to go into the details, thank you. Now, are you going to go out and cover those things up? There's some elastoplast in the top cupboard.
Yes, in a second.
Oh. What's this?
Oh, from Ronnie and Mildred. Read it and weep.
Why? What does it say?
Do you remember that message he left us on April 1st, saying that we fancied 2 tickets to the Bahamas that he'd won in the firm's raffle because Mildred wasn't well enough to go?
Yes, which was obviously an April Fool's, so we didn't bother to... Oh, you're joking.
Absolutely genuine. Even to the next-door neighbor said the time of their lives. Says in there that Mildred's still going through a dodgy patch, but they're both dying to meet up again. He's going to give us a ring to try and arrange something.
Oh, God! And the answer machine's not working. We'll have to declare full code red. Let every call ring, then dial 1471 and see if it's safe to phone back.
Knew it was a bad sign this morning when I ran out of vests and had to be one of their novelty T-shirts on. Why did people always want to meet up? Bad enough we get Mrs. Warboys coming round tonight with Cousin Wilf with that weird voice synthesizer thing of his and his palm top. Like having tea with a Dalek.
Well, if a poor man can't speak since his stroke, what else is he supposed to do? A marvellous invention, really.
Well, he can learn to type properly. I haven't forgotten the last time they were here, when he asked me to put some hot mustard in his rhubarb.
Neither is he.
Morning, Mr. Meldrew. I see your butt's in a sorry state at the moment, then.
What? Oh. Yeah. Well, of course, we haven't really had the rain,
If
so...
you stand back, I'll give you a top-up.
Sorry? Well, yes, thank you very much. That'll do for now.
Oh, yes, gardens have been getting a bit dry on the lately. Weathermen say there's more to come.
Where did that come from?
Sorry? Oh, yes, I've just been giving it a quick rinse through, ready for its next outing. Yeah. Very realistic they make them nowadays. When I first started in amateur dramatics, you had to make do with a face painted on a balloon.
Right. So you were doing some kind of play.
Oh, yes, I've just completed a very successful tour of nursing homes with murders in the Rue Morgue. Seemed to go down quite well with the over 80s. Yes, we found from experience that anything without a decapitation in it, they tend to start nodding off. So, and of course, for this one, Mr. Snoxel gave us his rather splendid orangutan. So it was quite a hit all in all.
Oh, really, Mr. Snoxel? I didn't know he had one.
What's that?
An orangutan.
Sorry? Oh, no. That's just an expression we use in theatrical circles. I mean, he gave us his portrayal of an orangutan. I could be naughty and say he's got a bit of a head start. So, anyway, for our next production in our season Tales of Terror, we're doing Nosferatu the Vampire, which should be quite a good one. We've got little Mrs. Impey from number 10 playing the headless corpse of Lucy Westenra, and fingers crossed for the title role, we're hoping to get Mr. Dimkins from the chip shop. Oh, hello, Mrs. Impey. Just a tick and I'll unlock the gate for you. I was telling Mr. Meldrew I've just put your head through some sturgeon, so it's all nice and fresh for you.
Well, I wish you luck with it all anyway.
Yeah, bye-bye to you. And don't forget, if you ever need my hose pipe, you know where it is.
And I mean, you'd never guess the man was 85. Would you, Will? Whizzing about around that great big house in his wheelchair. His wife was talking about getting some speed ramps put in along the upstairs landing. If she can get a grant from the council.
It was so nice to see my brothel again after all these years.
Yes. Yes, it must have been. And this was up in Pontefract, did you say?
Which is an awfully long time in a car these days for Wilf. Especially in the hot weather.
I was violently sick 11 times.
Oh, dear.
Now, while I think of it, check. Here's a little something for you, Mr. Meldrew, from the local deli up there.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Warboys.
And I remembered you saying you were in need of a new jigsaw for something to do in the evenings. So...
Thank you very much, Mrs. Warboys.
That's Sheffield steel. It'll last you a lifetime.
I Richard's going to go to the Lavarati. All right.
You know where it is, Will?
Bless him. He's coping so well. And you know it's his 75th birthday coming up this Friday. I was thinking of taking him to the old moat house just up the road from here for a big slap-up lunch to celebrate. I know he'd absolutely love it if you and Victor could join us. What do you say?
Actually, we'd love to come, but unfortunately we've got to go to a funeral on Friday. An old friend of the family. And I'm afraid we'll be in London all day.
Oh, dear. What a shame.
Isn't it always the way?
Yes, well...
Could someone get me a broth of soup?
Victor? You dare.
What do you want to go and tell him a lie like that for? Say we're going to a funeral of all things.
So what else was I supposed to say? No thanks, we'd both be bored, witless. And you'll be glad of it when next Friday comes round. It's like you say. Why do people always want to meet up?
They've finally taken away that pile of bricks, I see. Well, wonders never cease. You say I shouldn't keep on at them, but it's the only language they understand, I'm afraid. What in the name of God? When did they do this? Can you believe this?
Now, for goodness sake. Is that the real... Oh, they can't have done.
You see now the kind of psychopaths we're dealing with? Break into your house in the middle of the night and do a thing like this? What were they using? Muffled hods?
Oh, I'll have to call somebody. The fire brigade or another builder. What chances are they'll have it down in a couple of hours?
Couple of hours? My bladder won't last 5 minutes.
Who will you ring them?
Now, there's a big rubber nozzle on the end, Mr. Meldrew, where you'd normally fit it onto a tap.
Yes, right. Just hurry up, please, and let me know when you're ready.
Right, yes, sorry. In your own time then, Mr. Meldrew.
God, spare us all.
So sorry, Mr. Dimkins. When you say a problem empathizing with the character, which particular the blood sucking and turning into a wolf? No. I hear what you're saying, and thank you for letting me know anyway. Bye-bye to you.
Can I offer you a bite at all?
Sorry? Oh, no. That's more than I dare do. Now I have managed to get it all off. No, that's a bit of bad news. Mr. Dimkins from the chip shop has just turned us down.
No, not the vampire part. So what do you think you'll do now, then?
I don't suppose there's any way it would interest you at all.
Thanks ever so much. It was really useful, actually. It's given me some great insights, I think, on where to go with it all.
Pleasure. Well, I'll see you at rehearsals then, Lindsay, on Friday.
Bye.
It was a shame about Christopher Lee. He never quite managed to pull it off somehow, did he? Never really got under the skin of the character. As far as I could see.
Yes, well, when you've finished drinking the blood of virgins, you may like to know that our number plates have gone.
Number plates? How do you mean gone?
Gone stolen. Probably by somebody round here who was sick to death of the sight of them. Don't answer that. That'll be Ronnie and Mildred's noon offensive. You pick that up and we'll be stuck with them forevermore.
Sorry, I forgot. Is that the second post?
Yep.
No news, I suppose, about my test result.
What test?
Well, I'm not talking about my 11 plus, am I? My test.
Will you stop going on about that thing? You're worse than a child. If you want to do something useful, go and look up the number of that car place and see about getting us some new plates.
Right. That's me off to rehearsals then. It may be a while. Oh, and I think we've missed the electricity man again. I've left his card on the table if you want to do a reading.
Just take some deep breaths, Wilf. You'll be fine. I suppose on reflection that Knickerbocker glory was a bit heavy. I'm not to a liking cars these days. It's a godsend I've still got their spare key from the other week. We'll just pop you inside and you can have a little lie down till your tummy's settled. As I say, they were desperate to come out with us themselves, but there we are. I don't suppose it's been much fun for the two of them all day, having to go to London for a funeral. Just one more second, Will. You try to hold out. I'll just pop up the stairs and get you a wet flannel.
Okay then, everyone. We're just going to have a look at a few problem areas in Act 3 this afternoon. I think we're all present and correct. Mrs. Impey will be with us shortly. She's just upstairs with Derek having her costume tweaked. And, oh, yes, one bit of good news first of all, Mrs. Meldrew. You remember I said Lindsay had gone down with a nasty tummy bug and might not be well enough for your big seduction scene together? Well, she's got worse, I'm afraid. But at the last minute, her auntie Maureen has very generously agreed to step into her shoes. So, luckily, we've fallen on our feet there. Now, why don't you come and park yourself here, next to Mr. Snoxel, and we'll begin.
How are you feeling now?
I think I would like a glass of water.
Yes, of course. You wait right there.
I think I am going to be sick again.
So that's been a very productive session then, everyone. Now, there's more tea coming if anyone wants it, and an orange juice for you, Mrs. Impey, wasn't it? Oh, yes, Mr. Meldrew, I nearly forgot. This came through my door for you this morning in error.
Chartres Hospital.
Yeah. Didn't you say you were expecting some test results from there or something?
Mr. Swaney!
Yes, coming right up.
So, what do you think? You've got a bit more colour in your cheeks now. Do you want to rest a bit longer, or...
I think I would like a glass of water. I think I am going to be sick again.
since about 5 o'clock. Why?
Jean was here. Cousin Wilford being sick in the car again, and they came in here to... Oh, for the love of Mike! 4 hours nearly I've been in there doubled up like a penknife. Didn't you even wonder where I was?
I had other things in my mind.
Oh, what? Prizing your face out of Lindsay Gibbons' neck all afternoon.
My test result is positive.
What? What? You mean they found there was blood in you?
Said I have to make an appointment with a specialist at my earliest convenience for further investigations. Perhaps I'll make a cup of tea.
I despair. I do. Straight. Last week, 2 big black bags I gave you. One full of clothes to take to the dry cleaners. The other with the carpet cuttings to go up the tip. No one would believe it, would they? So, that's 3 of my best skirts, is it? Have now gone into the crusher. I wonder you've got the brains you were born with sometimes. What time's your hospital appointment? 12:30? You sure you don't want me to come with you? Look, I don't have to do this wretched number plate thing today.
No, you go and get that sorted out. Perhaps I'll find you on the way back. It's only 2 bus stops.
It's probably just a small ulcer or something in there that's been bleeding.
I'll see you later.
And stop worrying.
Anyone in? I'm sorry I'm a bit later than I said. My car started making a noise like an elephant whenever I go into 3rd gear. For some reason.
Right, I'll get that thing for you.
Shame that. I've got rather a lot to get today. Thanks. Of course, I still haven't been in your new car yet, have I? Didn't you say you had to go into town at some point today? Or did I imagine it?
So, Mr. Meldrew, hemoccult tests were positive, but no clinical symptoms other than a generally irritable bowel. And there's no reason you can think of why blood should have found its way into your digestive system.
Unless it's to do with being a vampire. I'm rehearsing for this play.
I'm afraid there's no easy way of finding out what's lurking inside a person's large intestine, Mr. Meldrew. So, are you familiar with the procedure called a colonoscopy?
What did he say? Was everything all right?
They gave me a sedative. Well, they put this thing like a long tube with a sparkler on the end, right up inside.
And what did they find?
Mrs. Warboy's black pudding.
Oh?
Said he couldn't find anything at all wrong there inside me. Then, as I was getting dressed, I suddenly remembered I'd had that ruddy black pudding full of pig's blood and God knows what. Oh, I need to lie down before I fall down. Where's the car?
Oh, where is he? I thought you said he'd come out to the car for a lie down.
Well, he did. And he wouldn't have got into the wrong one or anything, surely. Come and sit down. You must be ready for a cup of tea.
Sit down, that's a joke. Bad enough. Feeling like I've had an anaconda up my anus thanks to Mrs. Warboys. Then to waking up at the back of that bloody thing halfway to Burton and Trent. Never thought I was going to get off alive.
Well, it's lucky you had the money for the train fare, or you might still wish on the... 4291. Ronnie! I'm sorry we haven't been in touch, but things have been a bit hectic here.
Hectic? Had a right basin full of it lately. I have straight. Pipes up your front end, pipes up your back. Herbert trying to force a camel through the eye of a needle.
Yes, we'll be round right away.
Round where right away? What the hell did you tell him that for?
Mildred's dead.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? Dead. Stopped breathing a few minutes ago. They were playing cards. She went upstairs and the poor man's in a terrible state. He didn't know who else to turn to.
Oh, my God.
I'll get my coat. Ronnie. Oh, I don't know what on earth to say. Have you rung for an ambulance? I mean, what happened? you say there was no sign, no warning of any kind?
She only needed Mrs. Stitch, the tailor's wife, to win. Said she'd just got to pop upstairs for a moment to... And then, of course, when she didn't come down again...
So, where is she now? She's still up there.
I just can't get my head round it, even now. I mean, she seems such a jolly soul. Well, they both did. And now we find out she's been suffering these terrible bouts of depression. Heaven knows how he's going to cope from now on.
Yeah. Being upset for anyone, I should think, to find your wife's hanged herself during a game of happy families.
Oh, so that's another funeral we've got to go to.
What do you mean another one? The first one didn't exist.
I don't know. How are you supposed to cope with all the tragedy in life?
What was it that philosopher said? Just go out and cultivate your garden. If you don't mind, I'll just go and water the dahlias.
I get the lunch on.
They say I might as well face the truth, but I am just too long in the tooth. I started to deteriorate, and now I've passed my own sell-by date. Oh, I am no spring chicken, it's true. I have to pop my teeth into chew, and my old knees have started to knock. I've just got too many miles on the clock, so I'm a wrinkly, crinkly, set in my ways. It's true that my body has seen better days, but give me half a chance and I can still misbehave. 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot in the grave.